Are you listening or watching marketing books with video? Ancient history. Well, 20 years ago. First came plain text only messaging, followed by rich text, then the ability to attach images with embedding not far behind. We were then told to keep text to a minimum on our graphics or be rejected by the image police. As bandwidth increased, along with greater processing power in smaller, smart packages, our appetite for quality online content has become insatiable, ravenous even, and we are becoming less patient, time poor, and arguably unable or unwilling to focus our interest for more than a few moments. How long? Long-form audio is just not getting the clicks. According to Sweta Patel, in her late 2017 article in Marketing Land, 5 Metrics to Measure the Success of Facebook Videos, the average watch time for video on Facebook is a mere 10 seconds. Beyond 15 seconds, your video is attracting the interest of the Facebook success algorithm, as long as you're getting the likes, comments, and shares. If you have something to see or say, you better be quick and on message. Has such a voracious hunger for visual content meant that our other senses have been denied? If you haven't the time to watch a video for 15 seconds, and they are the patient ones, how on earth can you find time for talking, listening, or even reading? These are the questions that plague many of the authors I work with and publishers in general. How can you have your book and read it or sell it too? The quick answer is to do multiple things at once, but also have the flexibility of design to be able to pivot to different channels and formats. Your readership and listenership are not necessarily going to be at your book launch, public speaking events, or even less likely in a bricks and mortar bookshop. Here's a story from my humdrum workaday life that could tick a few boxes. 6:15 a.m. I'm driving my car to the train station. I've got half an hour of creeping peak hour traffic to get through and figure I'll multitask by listening to the next episode of my favourite vodcast on my smartphone, Bluetooth to the car stereo. Hands free, eyes trained on the traffic, and ears trained on the hosts and special guests. My shoulders drop noticeably as I relax into the storytelling, and the pace of the traffic fades into obscurity. 6:45 a.m. Arrival at the train station. Damn, no spots left. But this is not the first time. Find a side street to park in, but it's going to mean a half-kilometre walk to the platform. Out of the car, earpods in, as the episode continues. I switch between watching the screen and watching where I'm going. The vodcast host has managed to really animate one of the guests, an author, with a particularly controversial remark, and it's fun to watch the argument, expressions, and posturing of the players. But not everyone is laughing. But I hate vodcasts when everybody agrees with each other. 7:15 a.m. I'm boarding the train. Man, it's packed and not a seat to be found. I find myself squashed up against a group of pimply, but still lovely, at least in a couple of years, school kids. Only 2 more stops, I reassure myself. But they are so friggin' loud. I pull out the earpods. Thank you for the subtitles, oh thoughtful vodcast producer. I press on through the episode and debate whether I might pick up some earplugs for tomorrow's train ride. The kids jump off. I pop the earpods back in, settle into the body heat of my seat's previous occupant, and close my eyes for a couple of stops. I check up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit while the vodcast episode winds up. I reckon that snap of the guy walking 17 dogs at once in the park has meme written all over it, I think to myself, post, and feel I must look a bit smug. It's bound to have legs. LMAO. 7:45 a.m. At my stop in town, and I'm ahead of time with a bonus 15 minutes. I text and meet up with a friend for coffee. We do a quick Facebook Live, laughing about the overwhelmed dog walker and love on our chat box responses. Mentioned the author from the podcast? We look them up and listen to a 2-minute taster from the book read by the author. Might be next month's pick from Audible. 8 a.m. A 15-minute walk to work. I part from my friend and start listening to the next chapter in my audiobook. Can't quite put it down at my desk, so leave the earpods plugged into the phone and read it for 10 minutes on immersion until the end of the chapter. What was the name of that author's book again? I wonder if I can find a review. Now for the working day. Who are you marketing to? Has this morning diary revealed anything about my age or occupation? What was your imagination picturing as you read the story? Well, the truth is, I'm an audiobook producer, just celebrated my 55th birthday last month, and have 2 children in their 20s. Maybe I'm in denial, but I feel that changing social and technology trends make the old marketing age demographic split, will seem a bit old. I consider myself a millennial Gen X baby boomer with a few post-war foibles. I hated reading when I was growing up, now love audiobooks, and grew up in the TV generation during the 70s, so love video. I ignore advertising, detest the lack of choice on free-to-air TV, and haven't really watched it for 15 years. I don't feel that I'm unique in my cross-cohort behaviours, which of course makes a lot of us a bit hard to box up for a marketing campaign. But you have to work out where your book buying tribe is. And here's some ideas from my experiences with authors, publishers, readers, and listeners. Show yourself on video and find your tribe. We live in the era of the backstory. Tell your tale about what motivated you to write your book and the personal history that surrounded that desire to publish. As Bob Burg famously quipped, all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust. And that takes time, patience, and responsiveness to your audience. Writing is a two-way communication process. Conversation with your target market informs the desire to be listened to and contribute. You'll also find out what you want to know, whether your writing is inspiring those responses and grapevine chats resulting in your readers coming to you and your book. Whether you are a children's book writer and illustrator, novelist, business author, self-help coach, or you just want to share wisdom in an article that you feel will resonate with others, you need to know where your audience hangs out. Talk about your book on a podcast or vodcast. In late 2018, Stephen Goldstein of Amplify Media mentioned Blueberry's podcast hosting service research, indicating that there are 540,000 podcast titles and the number rises by about 2,000 every week. Consider doing some pre-recorded interviews and book passage reads. The easier it is to bring your message onto the show, the more likely you are to get podcast gigs. And a little known fact about Apple Podcasts. You don't need to choose between podcast audio only and vodcast video format for publishing. Apple provides for both formats in the same series. Check out the Joe Rogan Experience to realize that by recording video episodes, you have the added connection of guest responses and expressions, and you get the audio for nothing. Tell the media yourself. The media is always on the lookout for a good story, and as an author, you've written one. Sharon Green, founding editor of online magazine She Defined, encourages women to not only submit articles, but to include video along with their media release. Sharon feels video serves 2 purposes. 1. The media outlet may use all of your video footage, but reorder it to break it down into smaller stories. It saves them dedicating a resource to come to you, so instead the journalist can do a phone interview with you. 2. If your video tells the story well, then they will simply embed it as part of the article. The less effort the journalist has to put into your article, the greater the chance of being published quickly. And you are able to amplify your article by including links to the story on your website, mention it on social media, and have your own byline at the end of the article mentioning your website, known as a backlink. The media backlinks have great SEO power. Getting reviewed and Amazon Author Central. Finding a journalist or book critic to read your ebook or listen to your audiobook can be a challenge. To further mention Sharon Green's insights, you must do your research on the publication you are approaching. If your story is not compatible with the themes of the journal, then you are not only wasting your time, but that of the journalist too. Goodreads and Quora are the largest and most influential forums for book opinions, so don't miss a trick there, and try with a little help from your friends. Don't hesitate to leverage your Amazon book page and author page by including video, images, stories, and testimonials at Author Central. This will help the promotion of your book formats. Amazon currently hosts close to 1 million books, and their audiobook partner Audible have nearly 300,000. So it's a fast-flowing river, and Amazon searchers reward and promote those authors with active, well-presented profiles. Don't forget the guys. There is a perception that the fairer sex are the greater consumers of true crime, self-help titles, romance novels, and children's books. Someone has to buy them for the kids, and it's more often the women. Where the other gender are more interested in non-fiction, biography, and business books. This according to Karen Goldsworthy. Why women read more fiction than men? Okay, not all men. Sydney Morning Herald, October 2018. Keep your book's genre in mind when deciding how to approach your potential audience. This will help you target and choose the right social media outlet for your book's promotion. For example, your children's interactive audio ebook may get traction on LinkedIn because it is an innovative digital format and may attract the interest of publishers, but your retail buyers are perhaps more likely to be on Instagram and Facebook. I don't wish to labour on gender differences, but men are worth noting as the largest group of consumers for the audiobook format. According to Sean Kane in 2018, for the Guardian article, We're All Ears for Audiobooks, and here are some of the best, Nielsen Bookscan research revealed that males between the ages of 25 and 44 account for the bulk of the increase in audiobook sales, currently galloping at over 30% a year in the US and 20% in Australia. Of great interest to authors is the suggestion that this group are new literature market entrants, a combination of accessible technology, changing communication methods, and interest in podcasts have perhaps conspired together to catch the auditory attention of a group not renowned as great readers, especially for pleasure. In other words, you won't be robbing from Peter the paperback to give to Paul the audiobook. Be careful how you sell your book. Most of us are moving quickly away from free-to-air television. Children and young adults are watching about 1/3 less broadcast TV on sets than in 2010, according to Mark Sweeney, writing for The Guardian in 2017. If you are hoping to engage some very savvy young buyers, then be careful when constructing your message. Daniel Newman's 2015 research for his Forbes article has this insight. Millennials don't want to be talked at. They are used to having control over the information at their fingertips in their day-to-day lives. Dave Stokes is founder and audiobook producer at author2audio.com. Feel free to contact him directly at dave@author2audio.com or start a conversation at author2audio. How can we help?